You fired Patrick? I thought he was your chosen one.
He was not acting in the best interests of WWE.
What do you mean he's not acting in the best interest? He was actually good at what he did. He told the truth. He was eloquent. He was intelligent. What else could you want?
He made the mistake of mentioning he who should not be named. That is a choice he made, and he suffered the consequences.
How is he not supposed to mention Benoit? He won the 2004 Royal Rumble. Also, how are you firing people on my channel? It's my channel.
We can do whatever we want. We are the WWE. We run everything.
That is true. But what am I supposed to do now? I don't have anybody to review the shows with me.
That is not our problem. You will have to figure that out.
You know what? Fine. I will figure it out. I'm bringing back We Are Pro Wrestling. And you know what? On the final episode, I'm bringing it... Hello? Hello? He hung up on me. Now what am I going to do? Hey, I need a favor.
The 2005 Royal Rumble had a runtime of 51 minutes. It premiered on January 30th inside the Save Mart Center at Fresno State. Jim Ross and Taz called this event on commentary and 12,000 fans were in attendance. Howard Finkel was ring announcer for this evening.
2005, in my opinion, was the last great year for the WWE. The talent roster stacked like this Rumble. We kicked things off with Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. And throughout the Rumble, we see people like Edge, Rey Mysterio, Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, Batista, John Cena. But this Rumble is remembered for a couple of things. The first one is Vince McMahon tearing his quads, entering the ring to restart the Rumble when Cena and Batista eliminate each other. It was really cool seeing Batista and John Cena have that big stare-off at the end, and this was WWE's way of telling you these two will be the new faces of the company, and I don't think there have been bigger names ever since. Batista ultimately wins the Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania to fight Triple H and become world champion. Other stuff to remember is the angle set up by Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. Angle got eliminated by Shawn Michaels, and then he got pissed off, attacks Shawn Michaels, and then throwing him out of the match. You also had the first appearances of Muhammad Hassan and Daniel Puder. Let's not talk about Muhammad Hassan. Yeah, that's one of those controversial anti-American gimmicks that, let's just say, did not make a lot of people happy. And we're not just talking about fans either. We're talking about networks. And one other moment I really appreciated was Paul London's elimination. That clothesline by Snitsky, it wasn't his fault. Taking him out of the ring was crazy. But at the end of the day, I think this goes down as one of those Rumbles that was nice to go back and watch. Really good. Didn't really hate it. Is it one of the greatest of all time? Well, that's up to you to decide. I would put it in my top 10, maybe. So yeah, good Rumble. But that's just my perspective. Let's take it to a friend of mine. And let me tell you, you're going to love him.
Hello there. Probably weren't expecting me, were you? You guys don't know who I am. My name is Connor, but I also go by the name of OK Fame. I'm here on YouTube. I'm on Fight TV. I'm pretty much everywhere. But here, today, I'm here to talk to you about the Royal Rumble, or specifically the 2005 Royal Rumble. Ah, memories. Memories like the corners of my ring. Can't say mine because Barbara Streisand would sue my ass. But anyway, let's go down memory lane, shall we? Let's go back to 2005, almost a decade and a half ago, and talk about the Royal Rumble 2005. Now, this is one of the more intriguing Royal Rumbles because, well, it does something that I am a big fan of when it comes to Royal Rumbles. And I know that generally speaking, it is kind of difficult to review a Royal Rumble match itself. I know I've been doing them for a couple of years. But the one thing that I always true hold, and one of the reasons I love this particular Royal Rumble, aside from the 1992 one, is the fact that this one had several factors going into the match and also some ramifications coming out of the match. What do I mean by that? Well, it usually means more to me if one match can be a starting point or a continuation point of some other major storyline or storylines. And we'll get into that in a minute, as we have not one, but I think three big storylines that come out of the Royal Rumble heading into the grandest stage of them all at the time, WrestleMania 21. And no, I'm not talking about Big Show fitting into a diaper to wrestle Akibono in a small... I can't finish that sentence without just a little, it's not a whole lot of vomit, just a tiny bit of this one. But let's take a look back at the Royal Rumble 2005. Now, obviously, if you guys have already checked out the card, you kind of already generally know what's been going down, but we haven't seen the last of some of the people who are already in there. And of course, what better way to kick off Royal Rumble than with two of the biggest, best technical wrestlers at the time, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. Benoit from Raw, Eddie Guerrero from SmackDown at numbers 1 and 2. This was, of course, very interesting, was the fact that Eddie Guerrero had just won the WWE Championship last year, and Benoit won the World Heavyweight Championship last year. And what better way to start the Rumble than with the former two world champions who had to remember the fact that they lost the championship in the first place. Either way, we had some other interesting names in this Rumble as well. We had Daniel Puder coming over from SmackDown, who just won Tough Enough. We had Hardcore Holly, and then the Hurricane coming in at number 5. Kenzo Suzuki, yeah, remember that freaking name? If you don't, Google it. You might find some interesting stuff on there. Edge at number 7, who, of course, was just on the verge of getting the Money in the Bank briefcase a few months later at WrestleMania. And then Rey Mysterio coming in at number 8, and who had a monumental record. Will have a monumental record at the next year Rumble. Then we have Shelton Benjamin coming in at number 9, Booker T at number 10, and then we have Chris Jericho 11, Luther Reigns at number 12. Now, at this point in the Rumble, we kind of saw a lot of brand diversity. A lot of Raw guys were teaming together against SmackDown guys. But there really wasn't a whole lot of love for anyone in particular. I mean, even Daniel Puder was the fact that he was able to stick around for about, 4 minutes until Hardcore Holly got his ass in there. And hey, welcome to the business, kid. That's why Daniel Puder, one of a great Tough Enough winners, went on to such mega stardom in the business. Anyway, the point is that at this point, it was pretty much more or less Raw guys versus SmackDown guys. We'd seen a couple of eliminations. We saw Kenzo Suzuki eliminated by Rey Mysterio. We saw Benjamin and Mysterio both eliminated by Edge at one point. But the big one came when Muhammad Hassan came in at number 13. Unlucky 13 for Muhammad Hassan, as unfortunately, not only did he get eliminated, he got eliminated by everyone. And as I'm looking through my records here, aside from Scotty 2 Hotty, he had the second fastest elimination in the entire Rumble, next to only Kurt Angle, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Muhammad Hassan, of course, getting a lot of controversy, a lot of heat with this whole, Arab American character coming off the heels of 9/11. So we had massive amount of heat. And of course, what better way to him to sympathize, or at least bitch and moan like the heel that he was, than have everyone who was currently in the Royal Rumble, basically, eliminate him at the same time. This wouldn't be the last time we see Muhammad Hassan, of course, as Orlando Jordan comes in at number 14. 15 is Scotty 2 Hotty, but fortunately, poor dancing Scotty, the worm never makes it quite to the ring. Much like when you drink tequila, the worm never quite hits your stomach until shit hits the fan. Yes, he was unfortunately taken out by Muhammad Hassan and was never officially entered in the Rumble. Listen, sore losers. Imagine if he beat Scotty 2 Hotty and then just ran right back into the Rumble. I'm sure the results would be completely the same. sure. Next up, we have Charlie Haas and Rene Dupree at 16 and 17, both from SmackDown. Simon Dean, a character I miss so very much. The workout guru, formerly Nova from ECW, doing push-ups right outside the ring before, of course, he comes in. I miss that gimmick so much. He had the infomercials. That was some really fun stuff. But, of course, one of the bigger names, if not the biggest name in the Rumble, Shawn Michaels coming in at number 19. And this was the very interesting one because of the fact that Shawn Michaels came in and did a lot of intriguing eliminations, but more importantly, the biggest one is that he took out Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle would be coming in right after him on at number 20, but wouldn't be in the Rumble itself very long, being eliminated in 37 seconds by the Heartbreak Kid. And let's just say Kurt took it the best way he basically went back in and eliminated Shawn Michaels as well. He eliminated Shawn Michaels from the Rumble. Remember, there is no disqualification, and then ultimately beat up Shawn Michaels, giving him an ankle lock on a set of steel chairs, which is the same effect of having a Chris Jericho Lion Tamer or Walls of Jericho being put on the announcer's table. It's where you do it. It's so much impact. The fact that the ankle lock was done on a steel chairs. My God. Anyway, this would ultimately lead to their match at WrestleMania 21, which I'll get back into in a minute. Jonathan Coachman coming in at number 21, because what Rumble wouldn't be without the coach? Seriously, what Rumble would be without the coach? Almost all of them? Anyway, Mark Jindrak coming in at number 22, Viscera, number 23, from Raw, Paul London, number 24, and then, of course, the ace that runs the place, John Cena. Now, remember, at this point in time, John Cena was just on the rise. He was still the United States champion and was one of the biggest stars right now on SmackDown. He had not even won his first WWE Championship yet, but right behind him was Gene Snitsky. This was it before the Foot Fesh? It was before the Foot Fesh, but guess what? He gets eliminated by Batista, who comes in a little bit later on, but don't worry, it's not his fault. Snitsky comes in right after him was Kane, then Batista at number 28, Christian at number 29, and Ric Flair, at number 30. Now, the interesting thing about these is kind of, again, the pair-ups that we get of and some of the teases and stare-downs. We even saw a Kane Batista stare-down at one point, even though, strangely enough, we really hadn't seen Kane and Batista fight each other, even though they were on the same damn brand. Go figure. But, of course, one of the bigger moments that a lot of people remember is towards the finish. We get down to the Final Four. We get Rey Mysterio. We get Edge. We get John Cena. And we, of course, get Batista. Now, it's interesting to know that a lot of people at this point in time pretty much thought that John Cena was going to be the one to win. He was, of course, the U.S. champion. It was kind of being groomed to be in that place. He was really getting a lot of momentum, coming off a huge win at Survivor Series, and, of course, once again, recapturing the U.S. championship. A lot of people thought he was the shoo-in to win, when then, unfortunately, something happened that I don't think anyone quite anticipated. And there's been conflict over whether or not this is actually planned or not. I don't think it was planned from what I'm hearing, but Batista and John Cena, who were the final two, ultimately eliminate themselves. Yeah, that's right. They eliminate each other. And, well, then Vince McMahon comes out and steals the whole damn show. Yeah, Vince McMahon comes out to address the controversy, runs out, flailing and flaming like he always does, throwing down his jacket, runs in the ring, and tears both his quads at the same time. Unable to stand on his own power, he sits down yelling mad and saying that you have to go at it again. And the Rumble, for I believe the first time that I can remember in recent history, was restarted with the two of them. Didn't take long for the Animal Batista to eliminate John Cena and punch his ticket to WrestleMania. Now, as I mentioned before, there was a lot of different reasons why I love this Rumble. Big reasons is because there was a lot of intricate weaving plots throughout this. I mean, hell, you saw Edge and Shawn Michaels wrestle at the beginning of the pay-per-view, and both of these men were in the Rumble match. I mean, hell, Kurt Angle was wrestling for the World Heavyweight Championship just 2 matches prior, and even he was in this match as well. Kurt Angle, of course, decided to make his way in after beating up, I believe it was, trying to see who they are, Nunzio. Yeah, he beat up Nunzio and ultimately took his place. So a lot of people attacking others, which, woof. As I mentioned before, we have a bunch of different storylines that come out of this, including, of course, Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero will eventually feud on at WrestleMania 21 due to the whole tag team scene. But one of the bigger stories, of, as I mentioned before, Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle will ultimately go on to have a classic at WrestleMania 21, arguably the best match of the entire WrestleMania, which really goes to show you the athletic ability of both these guys. Following in this, of course, we have a couple of other big things. Of course, one of the other ones I really love is the whole interweaving of Batista and John Cena along with JBL and Evolution, because at this point in time, folks, Batista does not reveal his intentions on what he's going to do until later on. There's some intricate weaving plots and points back and forth, including No Way Out, which is the SmackDown pay-per-view where JBL has to defend the championship, and there's even some, controversy where Triple H, who's with Batista and Evolution, trying to put up this front that, hey, you know, JBL's coming for your ass. He doesn't think you can beat him, even though he's obviously trying to make sure that he doesn't cash in on himself. John Cena, even though, of course, would have the opportunity to fight JBL for the championship after winning a tournament to become the #1 contender. In an interesting little twist, they do show, of course, Batista and John Cena being the last two in the Rumble, something that we've kind of seen in previous and possibly future Rumbles before in the future when we get down to the final 2, 3, or 4 superstars who tend to go on to either have championship matches at WrestleMania or subsequently higher profile matches at WrestleMania. As I mentioned, Mysterio will face Guerrero. Edge, who was also in the Fatal 4-Way, or the last 4, I should say, goes on to win the Money in the Bank for the first time ever. Cena wins the WWE Championship, and Batista wins the world title. A lot of cool stuff. I actually really enjoyed this Rumble, not only because of the random characters that I forgot, but also some of the intricately weaving, like, unsurprised and suspected, like, I don't know, poor Scotty 2 Hotty, man. Seriously, poor Scotty 2 Hotty. Kurt Angle coming back in, Edge coming back in, Shawn Michaels coming back in. The surprise finish, Vince tears both his quads. I think it's a very underrated Royal Rumble in my opinion, but maybe that's just my opinion, guys, and I want to hear what you guys think.
The overall grade for the 2005 Royal Rumble is a B.
Thank you, OKFabe, for joining me on this review. Those of you who have not subscribed to OKFabe, do yourself a favor, subscribe to him, and give him a look. I guarantee you'll like what he has to say. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I will see you in 2006. Your boy, Alyx signing off. Peace.